This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network.
What Really Happened with your host, Mike Rivero. The history the government hopes you never learn. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And aloha, America. Welcome to our show. It's Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020, middle of the weekday, hump day, starting at long, slow glide down to Pow on a Friday. We have a lot of stuff to talk about today. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443, 800-313-9443. Mike is in our control room, twiddling the dials, keeping us out of trouble, ready to answer the phone when you call on in. So let's get right on into it. First of all, it is Earth Day, which is when all the global warming people are out there saying, see, the fact that it's snowing shouldn't discourage you from believing that you humans are wrecking the planet and we need to have much fewer of you. Well, we'll see what happens with all of that. All righty. I think at this point, it's becoming very obvious that there has been a tremendous overreaction to the COVID-19 pandemic, if you can even still call it that. And a lot of Americans are very angry. There are clearly efforts to try and redirect that anger away from the government toward China and toward Russia. And every time the government gets into a real mess, they try and find a distraction. Change the focus, change the story. Beirut barracks gets bombed. The next day they invade Grenada, that kind of a thing. And my concern is that as more and more Americans become angry with this house arrest that we're all under, that they're going to look for some other kind of a distraction. So the Americans stop thinking about that and start thinking, oh, we've got something else going on here. And that, of course, means starting a war with somebody. And right now it looks like Iran is number one on the hit parade because Donald Trump has issued orders to the Navy that the next time Iranian gunboats harass American ships in the Gulf, the Navy is authorized to destroy them, basically open fire. And this is a tremendous escalation of the tensions with Tehran. Now, the concern that we have here is that you're going to see the U.S. wander into Iranian waters, at which point the Iranian forces would have to respond. Then there's a firefight, and the U.S. insists, oh, no, we were in international waters. Absolutely. We've got GPS and everything. So the other part of the escalation, of course, is that Iran has launched their first military satellite that succeeded. It's in orbit now. And of course, the corporate media is out there saying, well, you know, this is a rocket that could eventually carry a nuclear warhead, and we've got to be aware of Iran's nuclear program. They're back to the Iran nuclear program. Not a shred of proof has ever been found that Iran is developing nuclear weapons, but by golly, we're going to dust off that lie and run it past the American people so that they've got something to be afraid of, and they stop thinking about how the U.S. government may have destroyed our entire economy with this lockdown. All right, we already have callers on the line. Let's start with Joe in Maui. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hello, Mike. I have a few things that I want to vent off, and I just want to tell you that I've listened to your program for years now, and I really think you're awesome, and I love Claire too. So what I want to talk about first, I hope so. So, the biggest thing that's just got me up in a fury and just got my blood boiling is that we almost had 0 cases of the virus up until supposedly, this is what they say, I don't believe what they say, is that a worker that came in sick and spread it to all the other employees and spread it to all the people that were there. But, you know, we got them dying here. They sent them over from Kauai, and then they're, you know, put them on ventilators and they die. And it's like I'm sorry, I got to calm down. It's like a petri dish. It's like, come, let's get everybody sick so we can get more money. And I'm not exaggerating. The people at the very beginning, the nurses and doctors are saying, we need better equipment. We need better protective stuff. And they're just like, hey, we could send you home. We'd find someone to take your place. And then they're threatening these people's jobs to the point where, they go to the council people and the mayor and everything and say, hey, it's either sit around with this incompetent staff and all this viruses and stuff or lose our jobs. And Mike, it's just escalated every day, from 6 to 12 to 20 to 6. We didn't have a problem. What I'm saying, and I want you're a smart guy. I want you to tell me what you think about this. It's like they want this virus to spread, because if you know anything about Mallory Memorial, it's the filthiest hospital. They send everybody to Oahu because they can't do surgeries there because it's filthy. And Kaiser took it over, and they haven't spent a penny to fix it up in 3 years. They've been dragging their knuckles on the ground to do anything to fix it. And so this is like the perfect opportunity for them. Oh, let's get everybody sick and let's make a big deal of this. And then we could get all this money, because apparently they get $39,000 a patient that has it. And how many gets on respirators get even more money. I mean, it's a money grab. It's clear and simple. The people are asking for protective equipment. Nah, go home. You don't like it, too bad. And each day it just keeps going and going and going. We don't have that many people here on Maui, but yet this is a perfect opportunity for them to fix Maui Memorial. And anyway, I need to calm down because I have a couple more things I want to talk about. Second,
well, before you go to those other things here, there is no question that doctors and medical practitioners and hospitals are being financially incentivized to see everything as COVID-19. It's like the witch hunts of Europe. If you pay people to hunt witches, they'll see witches everywhere. And we're seeing exactly the same mechanism here, where patients who are diagnosed with COVID-19, they get $13,000 for the doctors in hospital. And if they're put on a ventilator, they get the $39,000. And yet 80% of the people put on ventilators wind up dying because the ventilators are literally blowing up the lungs from inside.
Correct. And furthermore, the thing, the virus itself. Let me get my glasses back on. What about this hydrochloroquine or whatever? That stuff works. When they tested 1,000 people that were gravely ill in France, all of them got better within a couple days. Oh, no, we can't look at that. We can't deal with that. No, don't talk about that. What the heck?
Well, because it's very, very inexpensive. It's not patentable. I mean, it's,
right.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's a cash grab. And right now, everybody's out there trying to get the contracts for an eventual coronavirus vaccine. And my guess is probably one of Bill Gates' companies will get it.
Correct. And I'm not going to take it. And then I've been told that even if you were to get tested, because I don't have the symptoms, I don't want to get tested, no reason for it. But even if you were, if you've had a flu shot within the last 5 years, it's going to come out positive. And so what the heck do you want to get tested for if it's going to come out positive? Because then it just blows up their figures even higher. And it's like, you don't have a fever, you don't have a sore throat, you don't have the symptoms, then what the heck do you need to get tested for? And it's like Maui, and I don't know about the rest of the Hawaiian Islands, we're like 2 years behind everything. They got to stick something up your nose and go to your brain practically and wait 10 days if you want to find out if you got it or not. I mean, we are so in the dark, and yet I called my doctor 4 or 5 days ago because I had an accident on my bicycle, and I just want to get some antibiotics or whatever. And I spent all day, and finally I just went in the refrigerator and grabbed my own, because you can't even reach your doctor. You can't even call the hospital. And I sure in the hell don't want to go to Maui Memorial when it's just a petri dish of diseases. And I just see this all as a fraud. I've been hearing that they couldn't beat Trump. And I know you're not a big Trump fan. I mean, I know you like him better than Hillary, and I'm about the same with you on that. But They couldn't beat him with the Russia, and they couldn't get him with the collusion. And this is a last-ditch effort for them. If they can crush the economy and make everybody just totally wiped out, then maybe we can beat them that way, you know? And it's like, I believe that's what this is really about, because we have more people dying from old age and car accidents and smoking and what have you than this damn virus. And, you know, they just want to blow it way out of proportion. And I believe that it's true. I believe that the people get it and get sick. I don't deny that, but I don't think that we're so weak and so wimpy that we couldn't go through with this. And I got my friends in Nevada that have lost their jobs, people in Hawaii that Mike, all the people in my community, I paid my rent, okay? But almost all of them got the notice from the manager because no one could pay their rent. Nobody could afford to live. They live so to go to work to pay the rent to live, and everybody is just getting screwed. And this is. I'm sorry. I'm gonna end this. I think this is a fraud. I think this is a fraud. That the government, that the Democrats can't beat them this way, so they're going to throw their last ditch effort to take down Trump, and this is it. Can you please elaborate on that, please? And I won't talk anymore.
Well, Joe, it's very obvious looking at people like Nancy Pelosi that, yes, they're trying to exploit this to bring down Trump. But the crash of the economy, Trump can successfully say it was the fault of the coronavirus. Where that's going to backflash on him is people saying, you know, we didn't need to do that. I mean, if you look at Sweden, they ignored the coronavirus fears. They kept their economy open. It has a mortality and illness rate similar to the United States. And so more and more people are beginning to say, we destroyed our economy and millions of businesses for absolutely no gain whatsoever. That will come back to haunt Donald Trump come November here. So everybody out there is trying to find, you know, how can I use this to further whatever agenda they're furthering, whether it's gun control. Apparently Theta Grunberg is out there trying to use coronavirus to push her agenda against global warming. And some of these linkages get pretty ridiculous, I have to say right now. But yeah, everybody is just pounding on this thing for whatever their particular cause happens to be. And we ordinary mortals, if you will, are left to deal with the illness, the real illness and the real deaths at the same time that our livelihoods have been destroyed.
Correct. And China, they don't want this. They wanted to create this, and because Trump has played hardball with them, and he's tightening up the sanctions. And so the best thing that they could do is make it so hard on Trump to get him voted out, so then they could go back to their kickbacks and their sweetheart deals, and everything's back to the same. So it's not like Trump is fighting just the Democrats. He's got China. I think Russia's okay right now. I'm not really bashing on Russia so much. This is a new world order that they are trying to take over. And all my friends keep telling me, oh, it's coming out. They're going to arrest him. Oh, they're going to throw them all in jail. Oh, I'm so sick of hearing that crap. I've been hearing that crap for years. You know, show me something. You know, show me something. Because it would be nice to see the people that were dirty and been playing this line ball games for so many years. But I keep hearing it, and I'm sick of hearing it. Don't even tell me. Show me, you know?
Exactly.
But anyway.
You know, don't tell me things are going to get better. When they actually get better, get back to me.
Well, I'm so glad that you moved to, Indiana?
Yes.
And you're got back to your family and got back to, you know, I was planning on moving to Nevada, but I stayed tight here in Hawaii, and we're just going to lock down and deal with the 2 years behind the time lifestyle here, and hopefully this thing fixes itself sooner than later. But
well,
it's nice to talk to you, Mike.
Well,
I'm
thank you for the
sorry.
phone call, and you know, Hawaii is nice. I still miss it, and you know, at some point in the future, I want to come back there for a vacation and visit the old haunts and because we lived there for a little more than 20 years, so I still consider myself Hawaiian deep down inside.
Right on. And once you're Hawaiian, you're always Hawaiian. And you know, it
Well,
just
thank you for the
really,
phone
really
call, and
get this stuff,
Maui no
get
Oi.
this stuff off my chest. Okay, thank you.
All right, we're going to switch over now to Steve in West Virginia. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, hi, Mike. Did you get the invitation yet?
Which invitation?
Hello? Paul from New Jersey and Dustin are having a party, but you got to wear a mask and gloves.
Okay.
You
Well,
get
I've got a Lone Ranger mask. I could wear that.
it? Mike, here's what I called it. I called about a couple of things.
Yes.
Anyways, you know, Trump is pumped like between Trump and the Federal Reserve, or however you want to call it, they pumped over $6.5 trillion into the economy just since this coronavirus has happened. 1.7 of that, 1.7 trillion has went to Main Street, and the rest has went to corporations and
Yes.
Wall Street. Now, anybody who thinks the stock market, that money has got to go somewhere. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. That money that went into Wall Street and went into the corporations is going to go somewhere, and it's going to go back into the stock market. I promise you. Trump, if the stock market goes down and wipes out these people's pensions, and the teachers' pensions and the 401ks, Trump will not get elected. It doesn't matter what anybody says. The independents will not vote for him. So that stock market, I am betting, is going to go way back up. It may not hit 30,000 by the time he comes back in November, but I guarantee you it's going to be close. And there's a lot of good values, and that's about that's kind of what I think. And it's going to go up with gold too. Gold is getting ready to break 1,800. And, Bank of America put out a thing the other day that said, they think it's going to go over 3,000.
Yes.
So, yeah. The other thing I want to talk about real quick is you had a caller after Dustin yesterday by the name of Andy from Texas.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
just got to say, Andy, if you're listening, Andy, all these guys are actors. I thought when he called yesterday, I thought somebody was going to die the way he was talking. Every one of these guys, Obama was a bigger actor than Trump. Obama fooled all the black people into thinking that he was doing something for them, and he didn't do anything for them. He put them in a worse position than they are now. And he fooled all the poor white people that he was going to do something for them, and he didn't do nothing for them either. So, this guy, Andy, is calling and ranting and raving, Trump's an actor. Of course he's an actor. Don't vote for him. I'm not going to vote for him November, no matter what. He hasn't fulfilled his promises like he promised. He's still in the Middle East running these wars with Syria. Why would you be in Syria? Oil's worth $10 a gallon or $10 a barrel. And what the hell would you be doing in Syria for that? I mean, what does Syria put out? 200,000 barrels a day? I mean, how could that be worth keeping our troops there?
Well, it's not just the oil, it's the currency the oil is being traded in, but you're right. With oil prices where they are right now, none of these wars make economic sense.
Exactly. So, like Andy and some of these other guys are really emotional about the whole thing. I mean, man, take a look. All these presidents, Clinton, they're all actors, all of them. There's not one of them. I mean, Reagan was an actor. Everyone since then has been an actor. Maybe not George Bush, but he got elected on his name. But all the rest of them, Obama's a huge actor. So I would stop. Some of your callers are really emotional.
Yes.
Don't vote for them, and don't. And the other thing is, don't fall for any of this Q nonsense. This anonymous person is not going to save you.
No, he isn't. He's a disinformation operative. Anyway, Steve, we got to let you go. We got to take a break for commercials. We got more callers waiting on the line, and we will be right back.
This is too good to be true, except this time it is real. 100%. No joke. How about a $25,000 membership to Front Sight Firearms Training Facility as a thank you bonus for a one-time donation to RBN of only $500? It is a Commander lifetime membership with no yearly fees or dues. The training is free for the rest of your life with over 50 different classes. Then leave it to your designated beneficiary. You provide the approved firearm, holster, ammo, eye, and ear protection. Many features and bonuses are included, more than you would ever expect or believe. This is the ultimate graduation present, wedding gift, etc., etc. See the details. Go to RBN's webpage and frontsight.com to make it happen. You will hear this offer only on this radio network. Help keep RBN alive. Tell 5.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike.
And a quick reminder that Republic Broadcasting is holding a fundraising drive right now. That Front Sight Firearms Training Academy, that is a sweet, sweet deal for the gun lover in your life, and you might want to consider that if you can't afford the $500 donation, but you'd like to help out anyway. The postal address where you can send a check, money order, or if you prefer anonymity, cash, is Republic Broadcasting Network, 2251 Double Creek Drive, number 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. The phone number where you can make a credit or debit card donation is 800-724-2719, extension 3. The network thanks you. We're going to go back to the phones now to Steve Elkins. Steve, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
A couple things I wanted to address. First thing I want to address is that video that Keith Rogers sent you over yesterday. I just got it today. I guess it's a couple days old, but talks about, it's a hot mic talking about it's a hoax, talking about the GFR, the global fatality rate being around 0.1 to 0.3 on the hot mic. And so the guy's saying, so it's a hoax. And if you listen to that really closely, you'll also hear is, I'm not worried about it. I got the vaccine. Which is interesting because there is no vaccine yet, to my knowledge. But the point being is that it was a hot mic. So this thing is a fraud, no doubt about it. And I saw today that the Rockefeller Institute is is going to be making quite a bit of money here. Evidently, they want to succeed in starting off with 30 million tests for the coronavirus a week, and at a cost of the total cost so far, which we know that'll be hyperinflated, but we're looking at possibly making $100 billion on this. But here's what I'm talking about also, is that there is no greater way to build a DNA base on you by drawing your blood and testing for COVID-19. Think about that for a little bit. It sounds a little sci-fi-ish, a little bit like the movie Gattaca, but you got to remember, these people are very evil, and I would not put it past them that somebody, I mean, they're listening to our email, listening to our phone calls, and reading our emails and everything else on the surveillance of this, the police state here. Why not build a DNA base on you anyway? So I've always been very suspicious of 23andMe and any of those DNA sites there to test your blood, and I'm quite certain it's not all legit. They'll give you what you want to know, but I'm sure it goes into some kind of data bank. So that's something to think about when you hand over your blood, because actually, if you allow them to take your blood, you are giving them authorization for that. That's your property. Actually, it's your property. But who's to say that they won't take that property and use it against you later on? Okay, what I want to get to is I'm getting a lot of emails on ventilator stuff, questions on ventilators and CPAP machines and BiPAP machines. I'm going to tell you what I know from my end of it. I'm not a respiratory therapist, but I do work with them, and I do know quite a bit about ventilators. In that people are asking me, are the ventilators causing the deaths? No, they're not. A ventilator is a device to sustain oxygenation, deliver oxygen, overcoming the circuitry itself and the endotracheal tubes. And you're talking about positive end expiratory pressures, PEEP pressures. What is possibly happening here, these patients that are not doing well on ventilators, the optimal goal is to have 100% oxygenation. But with some of these patients you get, you have to take that in steps. You can't get right to 100% because they have collapsed airways. Their alveolars, the air sacs in their lungs have collapsed, leading into a situation we call ARDS, Adult Respiratory Distress Syndrome. So it takes a while to get to that point to deliver the oxygen you want, and you have to be very careful how much PEEP pressure you use. Too much positive expiratory pressure there, and you get what you call barotrauma. You actually blow a lung out, and you get what you call a pneumothorax, which then requires a chest tube to remove the air and reinflate the lung. So the ventilator's not killing anybody, but they're not talking about the comorbidities and the underlying health problems of people who are placed on a ventilator, which if you don't get 100% oxygenation soon and you have the collapsed airways, your body is in deficit for oxygen. And tissues don't like that. Organs don't like that. They like to be perfused with oxygen-rich blood. And if that can't happen, organs start dying out. It was what we call a multi-system organ failure. So I just want to make that sure it's clear is that it's not a magic bullet. The ventilator is not a magic bullet. It can sustain life, give adequate oxygenation, but at some point in time, if you don't reach a certain oxygenation, tissue dies off, organs die off. It can buy you some time, but if you also already have a weakened immune system, because your comorbidities or underlying health problems, you're just what we call circling the drain. You can't reach the optimal oxygenation, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And the next situation, so we can overcome the pressures, the resistance of the endotracheal tube, we actually trach you. We put a trach in, so that takes away some of that, so we can give a higher PEEP pressure. People are asking me about the CPAP machines and BiPAP machines. I guess Elon Musk got duped by the Chinese, thinking he was buying ventilators to send to California. He ended up buying BiPAP machines and PEEP machines. Well, the CPAP machine is continuous pulmonary alveolar pressure.
Steve, sure. I got to put you on hold. Don't hang up. We're going to come right back to you after these few words.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting patriotinternet.com. For about $2 per month, patriotinternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. patriotinternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With patriotinternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, patriotinternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from patriotinternet.com. Visit patriotinternet.com today.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new Ease Off Model Easy 4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my Ease Off?
Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry because we are offering $200 off on the new Easy 4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, I mean the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay. Unemployment getting worse.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with Steve Elkins, and Steve was telling us how Elon Musk apparently thought he was buying ventilators to donate to hospitals, and instead he got something else entirely. So, Steve, take it away.
Yeah, he got BiPAP machines and CPAP machines, not ventilators. So he got duped. This is what happens when people dabble in areas that they shouldn't be dabbling in. But I'm just going to go over real quick. I'm going to finish this little lecture up here quick. There's no test afterwards. But BiPAP machines and CPAP machines, I'm getting a lot of questions on that. Can't they be used in replacement of a ventilator? No, they can't. They are not oxygen delivery. They're mainly, their purpose is to bring pressure to inflate lungs, but not in the same fashion. The BiPAP is biphasic in 2 steps, and that's mainly for central apnea in the brain related, versus a CPAP, which is an obstructional apnea. And they have nasal now. The brand new ones are called nasal BiPAP or CPAP. But what you have, the problem with these other people are collapsed airways. I mean, they're collapsed alveoli. They're air sacs that grab the oxygen. They're collapsed, and you have to reinflate those. And with the ventilator, you can do it in steps by using a certain amount of PEEP and slowly trying to reach your goal of oxygenation. You can tell that by the finger probe, the pulse ox on the finger, that it'll tell you, well, we're coming up. that's all I wanted to mention. That those things can't be rigged with oxygen. They can't, and it's just the pressure itself, the continuous pressure with the CPAP, which does stand for continuous positive alveolar pressure, versus BiPAP, which is biphasic pulmonary alveolar pressure. They are not ventilators. They're not ventilators at all. It can't be fixed and changed over with oxygen to give the force and everything. Can't do that. That's all I can tell you on that. So I hope that clears the airway on the difference between a BiPAP, CPAP, and a ventilator. And the ventilator is more high tech. It's got a lot of more different modes to get you to where you want to go. There's a lot of different modes on the ventilator. Not everybody can go on a certain mode. You have to work up to it. It's a long step, long process to bring back the dead. Essentially, what's going on there a lot of times. These people are just, they're not talking about the comorbidities, they're not talking about underlying health. And the longer you stay deoxygenated, the faster other organs, your comorbidities, your underlying health problems become a serious problem. And that's probably what happens. And there's a point in time where they say, you know what, they're not going to survive. Let's let them go. When your kidneys shut down, and then now you're looking at throwing them on dialysis. There's the domino effect of system after system. And after a while, of course, your last system being the engine, your heart, that's the last one to go. So I hope that makes it kind of more clear here. BiPAP, CPAP, and ventilator. I hope that clears up the airways.
Well, I'm sure it does.
No,
thank you for the
no
information.
pun intended.
All right. Well, Steve, thanks an awful lot for the information, and thanks a lot for the phone call. We're going to let you go and switch over to Fran in Washington State. Hello, Fran. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hi, Michael. I haven't spoken with you since before you moved. So I have some questions and some observations. One observation is, so we know that all the media companies are controlled by 6 corporations, right?
Correct.
So one of my other observations and questions, okay, so for the people that are, quote, asymptomatic of COVID-19 symptoms are carriers. Now, if we are asymptomatic, aren't we immune?
Well, that's a matter of some debate right now. Asymptomatic simply means you're not showing symptoms, but you're carrying the disease and you are potentially contagious as well. But apparently, now that they're starting to bring the antibodies tests online, they're discovering that people who've had COVID-19 and recovered haven't generated enough antibodies to have immunity. So that whole herd immunity argument may have to be revised.
I think that this assumption that we are asymptomatic and not immune is a crock of bullpucky.
Okay.
And so, what has this whole thing got to gain by them telling us people that don't have it, oh, well, you're a carrier? What is behind that? And oh, by the way, who does the AMA take their marching orders from? Answer, the pharmaceutical companies. It's the pharmaceutical companies that train the doctors.
Yes.
Right?
They provide quite a bit of the materials used in medical schools.
Yep, they sure do. So knowing, 6 corporations control all mainstream media. And isn't it curious? I saw a montage the other day where it was a montage of a whole bunch of news anchors, and they were all saying the same thing at the same time, the same script.
Yes.
They have scripts. There's no investigative journalists left. Or if they are, they're not on mainstream media.
Well, that's why
So,
the independent media is doing so well.
and yeah, this is there is much more going on in the background, and it's much more beyond politics. And oh, by the way, the DNC does not have our best interests at heart. The DNC just wants more power and more control. And this whole thing is about power and control. And the deep state wants to keep theirs, and they've had power over us people. We've been a slave race to their control for millennia, or major millennia. Yeah, you just need to dig deeper to know that this whole thing stinks.
Yes, you do. Yeah, it is all about power, and I don't think it's just the DNC. I mean, most of the people in the GOP, it's the same thing. It's about acquiring power and keeping it and using it, and continuing it as long as possible. That's the nature of power, is it attracts the very people who should not be allowed to have it. But that is a reality we all have to live with.
And I'm pissed off all over again. They're doing to Bernie Sanders this year the same thing they did to Bernie last year. There are millions of people that are part of Bernie's message. And, 4 years ago, they offered up Hillary, and now it's Biden. Oh my God, I will not vote for Biden. So it's the same situation as it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, the leadership of the country is decided long before you and I walk into a voting booth.
Yeah. Oh, I saw a funny picture on Twitter the other day of Trump, and the picture was him pointing, and it said, "They're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way."
Yes, I've seen that one.
Gotta like that. Anyway, that's about all I've got in that question everything. And, who benefits from causing, we're all going to die of this virus? Oh, and by the way, they're not testing for a virus. They're testing for exosomes. If you look into that, also, the body's cells emit exosomes in the presence of 5G, which, by the way, they blanketed Wuhan with 10,000 5Gs all at the same time, along with this, quote, virus. And don't forget that it was a Harvard professor whose associate was caught smuggling material to a lab in Wuhan from Harvard.
Okay, well, Fran, thank you very much for the phone call. We're going to let you go here and switch to Joe in Tennessee. Hello, Joe. What do you know? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I just, a couple of weeks ago, I called in and I heard a caller on another show say that when this whole coronavirus reminded him of 9/11, it was like right after the first plane hit the building kind of a moment. And I agreed with that feeling, the general vibe. And I have to say that with what happened in the oil market, that was the boom. That's the start of the implosion to bring the buildings down, without a doubt. But it's the building that's going down is the financial system.
Yes.
And, let's face it, we live in the petrodollar system. And to see negative $36 for the May contract, and what damage that's going to do to the derivative market, the trade market, the Saudis, the Kuwaitis, the whole world financial system. It's already imploding, and there'll be more. You'll probably see a huge jump in gold, or possibly they could finagle a huge drop in gold. I mean, the system's so corrupt. But one thing's for sure, this is the implementation of the destruction of the economic system has started. Oil is a big, that's the backbone of our system. Like, once again, with the petrodollar, I expect pensions to go bankrupt, states to go bankrupt, the federal government to go bankrupt, no more Federal Reserve. Hopefully we'll go to a gold standard, but you're seeing it. I mean, there's no doubt in that. I mean, you don't see negative, and there's somebody who was saying today there might be a negative $100 a barrel in the June contract soon. And I mean, if people knew the amount of economic damage that's being caused by this, it's going to make 9/11 nothing in comparison. And it's just amazing to watch it being glossed over. You know, all the talking heads are talking about silly things. And meanwhile, where it hurts, where your money is, that's what you're going to be losing soon. And it's just, but in a way, sometimes I think Americans deserve it. So, I mean, our prosperity has just turned this country into a nation of degenerates and snowflakes. So maybe it'll toughen people up and make them be more self-reliant and kind of decentralize everything. That problem, I hope Trump takes the opportunity, the economic collapse, to decentralize power and to, once again, part of decentralizing power is destroying the Federal Reserve and the national banks. And I think a gold standard would probably be best, because you can't just print your way out of a gold standard. You know, you got to, it brings everything back to reality.
You can't print gold.
And gold to me is the truth. And I read a good, somebody wrote a quote and I liked it. It says, "Truth is always dangerous to those that rule by deception." And so gold is truth, fiat is deception. And I'd like to say real quick that I really miss Bob Chapman at times like this. I don't know if you remember Bob. I know Robbie Noel and Bob, and John Statmuller will remember him. But I used to love his. And a time like this, I mean, it would be wonderful to be able to listen to him for an hour. So we miss you, Bob, wherever you are. Well, I'm sure he's up in monetary heaven there. The gold's up there, you know, Golden Gates and all that.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you, Mike.
All right. Thank you for the phone call. We're going to go to James in Tokyo. Hello, James. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. I'm a little upset at you. I hear you are breaking. Again, sir, you're breaking curfew in Indiana. You got the corona going all around. I'm hearing that you're breaking curfew, and in the middle of the night, you're escaping to the Indiana strip club. And I have to tell you, Mike, that's
I'm
very
afraid
dangerous.
the strip club has a sign in front of it saying "closed until further notice."
But I know you pull your strings, you get in there, and I got to tell you, Mike, if you're in there and if one of the strippers just collapses on stage due to the coronavirus, I mean, you might have to go through the horrible experience of being quarantined with about 14 or 15 strippers for 14 days. And guys at our age, it's pretty tough to do without a back pocket of Extendivites. So please be careful, Michael. Please be careful.
Got my bottle here, right there, ready to go. Okay.
And I want to talk about the corona just briefly in the U.S. and Japan. In the U.S., the first place that was quarantined was called New Rochelle, New York. It's in Westchester County, a 40-minute drive from New York City. I grew up down there, and a friend of mine from elementary school, he works in the fire department. And I asked him, you know, what do you think? Is it real? Are they overdoing it or underdoing it? Or just give me your impressions. He said, well, you know, there are 150 people in my department. 51 are out sick. Out of the 51, I would say maybe 40 are really sick, and the other just pussies who are just trying to get out of work, and they see a good chance to get out of work. He said, I just got home. the past day. We did 2 fires, but the rest was EMT work that I also do. And it wasn't like we're picking up people from the coronavirus. It seemed like a lot of the people had prior symptoms that just seemed to get worse. He said, in my opinion, this feels different than other types of viruses as it specifically targets people's illnesses. So I find that very strange. I talked to the nurses. I know them all. I know the nurses, the doctors, and they said, yeah, out of all these people you bring in, about 15% who are complaining of these symptoms actually do have the coronavirus, but not the rest. Can we stay over?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to hold you over, James. Don't hang up. We'll bring you back after these words from our sponsors.
Talk Right, the conservative app offered by TalkStream Live that caters exclusively to the conservative talk radio community. Here you'll see only talk shows and podcasts from the conservative right, all the big broadcast names and online digital shows in one place. Talk Right makes it easy to find all your favorite conservative talkers with all the upscale features you come to expect from TalkStream Live. Keep up with the fast-paced political world. Download Talk Right today from Google Play or the App Store.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show of Redfield Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners. So that you can get involved in the activism, please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Some are maxed out on their credit cards, some are working 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far $5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with James in Tokyo. And James, if you could just pick up where you left off.
Okay. Well, I talked, about New York, what my fire department friend was saying. So he says, yeah, it's serious, but it doesn't seem like there's quite a lot of deaths. These are mostly people who were older and had prior conditions. Now in Tokyo, it's a little different the way they do stuff from New York. I mean, I know how they do stuff in New York City, but I'm not exactly sure the conditions where my friend Pete works at in New Rochelle. But in Japan, well, they're cutting down bars hours. Like you can drink during the day or up to 7, and the bars are shut. A lot of the restaurants too. They open restaurants in the afternoon and close them by like 5 or 6, and no alcohol. They figure, if you're going to drink alcohol, you're going to get close to people and talk and forget your social distancing. Gyms are closed, hair salons are closed. But what they don't do is they don't close the public transportation. They say it's a lot less, but it's a lot less for public transportation like the subway, for example. Here, there are still many people just packed together, and this is where a lot of these main clusters that they say are coming from. So it's quite dangerous. And as a matter of fact, my son, one of his friends had the coronavirus. And I've known this kid for a long time. He's about 25, but he got over it, which is good. But he had it and he was actually one of the ones that got tested for it. And what he told my son was, they test you, but I don't really think they're testing you actually for the Corona-19. I mean, the doctor was telling him that anytime you get tested for this, you have so many coronaviruses, you, me, everybody that we've had all for our years that are in our body. So a lot of these tests just don't kind of work out the way they think they're going to work out because you have it already. And a lot of people are saying now have it already. So you've seen the number of cases go up daily. And recently, for the past couple of days, about everywhere in Japan, it's just starting to go down. So maybe what they were doing with Sweden with that, herd approach has been having some benefits because rather than trying to delay everything, if you just let everybody get it, you get that herd resistance. And I believe this upsets a lot of the Democrats because I think they just want to see the total economy collapse even more than it has now. Just do anything to get Trump out. And that's my opinion on that.
I mean, how willing they are to cause so much misery for so many people just, for politics situation. Anyway, listen, James, we're going to have to let you go. Say sayonara for now. We've got to take a break for patient identification. We'll be right back after these few words.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero, because World War III is a really bad idea. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
Welcome back to our show, hour number 2. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443. Turning to our mailbox right now, Steve Elkins just sent me an email. Answer to your caller's question on coronavirus positive but asymptomatic. The question, is the person immune? I would say that the person's immune system has responded and is fighting the virus. That is why the person is not showing signs and symptoms of the disease. Are they contagious? I would say that their level of being positive for coronavirus is very low and most likely not infectious. If you have a fever, then you are contagious. The fever is our body's defense to activate the white cells to attack the foreign pathogen. And we have another email here saying that a ventilator is merely a very expensive and sophisticated pump like the one used to inflate car tires and footballs. It pumps air in and out. Hopefully this increases oxygenation of blood if the patient is having difficulty in breathing. Blowing up a lung, as Steve Elkins says, is the worst damage it can do. Short of this, it can cause leakage of fluid in the space between the pleura, which are the membranes covering the lungs, and cause other problems as well. I saw on a website today a write-up of 2 doctors who were down with COVID-19. What the hospital did was actually use a machine somewhat similar to a heart-lung machine, which actually oxygenated the blood of the doctors. Both of them recovered. All righty, so getting on back to some actual news now. Missouri has filed a lawsuit against the Chinese government over the coronavirus pandemic, claiming China's officials are to blame for the devastating outbreak that's sweeping the globe. Meanwhile, Beijing media is out there saying that the COVID-19 actually originated in the United States and was brought to China with this Warriors Olympics that they had a while back. Everybody's pointing fingers at each other. Fire departments have issued a warning. Apparently, people who can't afford to buy a large number of masks to use once and throw away, they're trying to sanitize their face masks, and there are ways to do that with hydrogen peroxide. But unfortunately, apparently, some people are using their microwave oven to sanitize their face mask, and they're causing fires. So, little warning, don't do that. All right. Now, Mayor Bill de Blasio set up a text hotline for New Yorkers to snitch on other New Yorkers who were violating social distance. They've had to shut it down because it was being bombarded with prank memes and apparently some very rude comments, including one that likens de Blasio to Adolf Hitler. Okay. Now, Attorney General William Barr is saying that he might join lawsuits against states that don't reopen fast enough, trying to get the economy back on track here. And the Trump administration has unfortunately painted itself into a bit of a corner, which the Democrats are going to be thrilled about, because you've got that portion of the population who thinks the lockdown should continue because they're terrified of COVID-19. And then you've got the other part of the American people who want the economy back on track so that they can pay their rent and buy food and so forth and so on. So no matter what Trump does from this point on, there's going to be a significant chunk of the voting public that is not going to like it. Hence my earlier comment about what we need is a good war as a distraction here. Okay, there's a new study carried out by the Zhejiang University in Hangzhou, China, and it finds that COVID-19 has mutated into at least 30 different variations, and the ability of the novel coronavirus to mutate has been underestimated. Well, again, any life form based on RNA has a high potential for mutation. You're all familiar with DNA, which are the 2 strands of nucleotides that form the helix shape. And it's very stable for the most part. But what RNA is, it's a single strand that doubles back on itself. And it can loop and it can skip and it can jump. And it's very unstable. It's obviously a much older variation of the self-replicating molecule than DNA. But researchers found there were many more mutations within their samples than previously had been reported. Apparently, around 60% of the mutations are considered new. That's always the danger with any one of these pathogens. It could quickly mutate to something that, you know, is very, very, very serious. Now, over time, all pathogens mutate to be benign. German measles is a good example, or measles is a good example. When it first showed up, it was a slate wiper. Now it's considered a childhood annoyance because it doesn't do a pathogen any good to immediately kill its host before it has a chance to find new hosts. So pathogens that are killing their hosts very quickly, like Ebola Mayinga, for example, they don't get a chance to reproduce. They die, the infection dies out very quickly. The very best pathogens are ones that don't make you sick at all, and in fact can form a symbiotic relationship with you. Now, a Belgian biotech firm claims to have developed an antibody test that is 100% accurate, and it's already manufacturing thousands of them per week. The whole idea of the antibody test is to be able to find out who has had COVID-19, who has developed an immunity to it. And an antibody test will do that. Now, if you had COVID-19 and you didn't develop antibodies, the test will come back negative. If it comes back positive, then presumably you could be allowed back into the general population without being at risk for either catching the disease or giving it to anybody else. Hence the pressure to come up with a reliable antibodies test here. All right, we're still seeing protests all across the country for people who really are opposed to this house arrest that we're under. And apparently a couple of Texas activists hit the streets of Austin to promote hashtag all businesses matter and to spread the word that the globalists are pushing a Bill Gates funded vaccine as a solution to COVID-19. Seeing that all over the country here. Santa Cruz County is going to reopen their beaches, taking the lesson from Florida. Okay. Virologists insist America's coronavirus cases will spike the moment we relax social distancing, which will last until 2021 as anti-lockdown protests gain momentum and Trump considers reopening the economy. All right. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has issued an executive order that New Yorkers must wear a mask or face covering when unable to maintain social distancing. Still out there trying to do all of that thing. Okay, we're going to take some more phone calls here. Rick in Arizona. Hello, Rick. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
A couple of quick things. I guess you got to ask yourself, who has more credentials, Justin or Dr. Lorraine Day, who calls it a hoax? Now, she says that COVID stands for Certificate of Vaccination Identification Document, COVID. Nobody's dying of COVID. It's just it's an acronym that they use. Anyways, another thing is if you take and replace the word coronavirus with anti-Semitism, I think you will find out what they're feverishly trying to stamp out. This is what's spreading, and it's not coronavirus. And they have to use this virus to keep us separated, not talking with people. Because for 20 years on the internet, there's a lot of stuff that's bubbled up. And this awakening of the people has put all hands on deck by the ruling class to stop this. They've got everything to lose by letting life go on as normal in America and around the world for that matter, because people are wising up. They don't have to have, shareholder capitalism to own the oil companies and the banks. And this is all the kind of stuff they talked about before Hitler came to power. When Hitler came to power, he stopped all shareholder capitalism. He stopped private banking. And so this is what they're afraid of. There's an awakening out there that they're trying to separate people. And I believe, Dr. Day, that this thing is a total hoax. They use the coronavirus because everybody carries it. And you're going to test for that sooner or later in 1 year. You're going to get a cold. And the government is baffling you with their BS because most people are they don't know anything about biology, so they just believe what they hear on TV. Thank you for taking it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Jim in Montana. Hello, Jim. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike, I'm going to make this my quickest one yet. I appreciate your point at the beginning of the show that if we push too hard ourselves, that they will come up with another distraction like the war with Iran. But they're going to do that anyway. They're going to do it anyway. It's full out war on the whole world. I don't think, totally appreciate it, but if we live by, don't fight that, don't do this, because, they'll do this, we'll never get anywhere that way. So I'm working on a couple of ideas on my topic yesterday on how we can get organized together, make sure that we have the numbers that we need to do to carry out my plan that I want. I'm not going to say it on there because I don't want them to be able to, pre-plan on it or anything. But anyways, that's it for me. Yeah, if we go by like if we don't, push back, if we don't fight, if we push too hard, they'll just do something bad. Well, that's how war works. We can't just stand by because we're worried about what they're going to do, because they're already doing it. They'll go to war with Iran anyway. All right, Michael. Hey, dude, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for the platform you created and all your hard work. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Tom in Florida. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Aloha, Michael. Good day. Yeah, Michael, what's on my mind is this immigration. Trump's he's gonna say legal immigration is gonna be cut for 90 days. It should be for 90 years. That's what he should be telling these demon rats. You're not gonna have your illegal voters with legal and illegal immigration. And yeah, he needs definitely a 9-year moratorium on legal immigration and 999 year on illegal immigration, because this is what this is all about. This whole thing with Corona, in the Supreme Court, like I told you, Michael, they will do anything the Democrat Party throw the kitchen sink at Trump, because he's trying to stop this immigration legally and illegally, and he knows where these votes are going to go. All these people are coming to this country; they're not going to vote Republican. They want the free handouts. Let's get to the real deal here, the real point. And the point of the matter is, Michael, with the coronavirus, you had just mentioned measles and mumps. I looked it up, Michael. It was way worse than this pandemic here.
Yes.
The measles and mumps. And what kind of lies and conniving, cheating, stealing are these demon rats in the media doing here to the American public? And you got that witch that looks like a witch. She looks like that actress. I can't remember her name. There's an actress who looks just like that lady in the governor of Michigan, Gretchen. I'm telling you, there's a lady actor. I can't remember her name, back in the 70s and 80s. Looked just like her. Looked like a real witch. But we'll see that, people will keep voting these imbeciles in. Like in New York, New Jersey, they still keep voting nitwits in there to tax them to death. The same, all these states, they're voting all these morons, Democrats, that just want to flood the country, take away from the Americans and give to these illegals and illegals that haven't even been here a year to get Social Security, a lot of them. Give me a break. Who's kidding who here? They're getting better medical. They're getting Social Security, Section 8 housing. And you got Americans whose families been in here, fought in the Civil War, a lot of them can't even get medical assistance. It's absurd. Let's get to the real truth here about all this nonsense. Now, Trump has got to knuckle down and start, like I told you many times, and we know the guy in Jersey agrees with me on that. I want to see some arrests. I'm going to still vote for the guy, but he's going to have to show me something. He's going to arrest people, man. Now, if Biden gets in there, Michael, it'll be utter disaster. And everybody in your listening audience needs to know that. It'll be utter disaster, ladies and gentlemen, because if you get Biden in there, that moron, that bumbling buffoonery of him, a 98-year-old brain, we'll be in utter chaos. Look, right now they're talking about the food shortages, Michael. There could be a major war because over food. Well, let me tell you, that could really lead to potentially disaster or something. I mean, the oil's one thing and all that, but people need food. So let's hope that we keep producing and all that. But Michael, I wish you do an hour with nobody interrupting you and just talk about what illegal immigration has done to the food supply, as far as how many people are actually working in the agricultural industry. I like to have hardcore facts. How many people are actually coming here illegally, working in these different picking crops and all that, because they use a lot of robotic stuff now. I want to know what the actual figure is to the within a 20,000. I would like to know how many illegals are actually picking crops, and what are they doing, and the ones that are not, what are they doing? They all cutting grass or doing lawn service? What are they doing? What is their modus of operandi here, other than illegal votes for the Democrats? Hell, they're getting free college. You got these Democrats want to give them $500 to $1,500 checks. Unbelievable.
Yep. A lot of free
And
stuff
it's gotta
there.
be, yeah, it's a lot of corruption.
Be here.
It's utter corruption. It's absolutely absurd. It's buffoonery. That's the word, buffoonery. And people are hoodwinked to thinking we got to be accepting this nonsense from these dirty demon rats like Pigs Pelosi and all that. Hey, her husband's worth $600 million. Did you know that?
Yes.
The Pelosi's husband. And she's worth, like, I think I saw was like $48 million. How did she make so much money in Feinstein? How did all these broads make so much money in politics, man? How did they get so filthy rich in California? How?
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. It needs to be solved. So, anyway, Michael, that's really basically all I got, other than the fact that we'll see. Trump's got a timeout on immigration legally, so it should be extended way longer than that, until after the 2050 election. That's when it should be stopped. But as long as those Democrats get those illegal votes, Michael, they're going to be flooding. Look, New Jersey, you got one guy admitted that state will never go back Republican. Never. You think Hawaii will ever be Republican, conservative?
No.
Tulsi Gabbard's about as conservative you can get. No. Those states are gone. They want to get taxed to death. Illinois. These states are absolutely absurd. They're gone. Destroyed. Chicago had 26 shootings over the weekend, Michael. Baltimore had, I think it was like 16, and it's unbelievable. These cities, you don't even hear, they keep that out of the media now. They don't want to tell you the crime rate in all these cities in lower 48. I mean, it's unbelievable. You should one of these days have a FBI statistic on that. Bring up the FBI statistics on how many gun violence is going on still in this country, even with a coronavirus going on. Who's kidding who? This is nonsense. Yeah, people are dying from this. It is a horrible thing that the Chinese or whoever brought this, whoever brought this. You know, Michael, you know what they've been showing all weekend on TV? Have you been seeing all these shows? They've been showing Wild Wild West. They're showing all these old reruns of viruses with Miguelito, and they show all these viruses that James West had a battle, and then they show a transporter and how they have all these viruses and anti-serum, give people injections to save. You know, that guy, what was he? The guy, the bald-headed guy, he's doing the actor. I can't think of his name. Jason Statham. He does all these shows, and it's all about viruses and this and that. And I noticed they're showing them like crazy now. They're rerunning them like every 4 hours. They'll be running the same movie on. It's unbelievable. And basically, they all have to pertaining to viruses and stuff. From it's unbelievable what's going on. And then now I got all this stuff happening, and Michael, we're not hearing nothing about Taiwan. What's going on with Taiwan? Did they seal their borders completely off of China?
The last I heard about Taiwan was that they were upset that China sent a naval exercise close to their coast again. But that was a few days ago.
Okay, well, I'll leave you one thought, Michael. What would happen if China were to invade Taiwan? Do you think the United States would jump in and back Taiwan, or would they just let it go?
I think at this point, the United States wants a war with China because the alternative is for China to take over as the world's strongest economy and the world's strongest technology. Because the United States has literally bet the ranch on the war machine, and the war machine is coming up short.
Well, Michael, there again, I agree with you on that. I honestly think we're looking at World War III with China. And I mean militarily. I really believe that. And I believe it's going to spark either in Taiwan or the straits there where they're building all those islands. Something's going to happen. You remember I told you that. Something will happen in the future between us and China, and it's going to be a bad situation. I think it'll be much worse for them because I think their food supply will be totally, there will be no dogs or cats to eat left. Remember, the United States does feed most of the world, most of it. We do have a big portion of the food distributed out of this country, so we'll see how it goes out. I hope there's no war. I'm praying for peace, but I don't know. All this is all about power. And these billionaires and some trillionaires, I don't know what, I think that's what they want. They're looking, they're demonic.
Yeah,
All I can tell you about it.
I think they're losing control, and that's the big problem. All right, well, Tom, we got to let you go and take a break for commercials. We got other callers waiting on the line, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that you can be tracked and traced when you're online? With identity theft and cybercrimes on the rise, your passwords, your identity, and even your physical location can be revealed to complete strangers. Would you like to surf the internet anonymously and not have to worry about these threats? Well, now you can by visiting patriotinternet.com. For about $2 per month, patriotinternet.com will conceal your IP address and your physical location, allowing you to browse the web, send emails, and instant message anonymously. patriotinternet.com will bypass filters, block sites, and keyword blocking. You can also bypass logging by your router and your ISP. With patriotinternet.com, there is no software to install and uses 128-bit encryption for your protection. When using wireless hotspots, patriotinternet.com shields your information from identity thieves and is compatible with Windows, Mac, and Linux. Protect your identity and your freedom with anonymous internet access from patriotinternet.com. Visit patriotinternet.com today.
As a listener of RBN, you're surely concerned about being informed and being ready for whatever may come. Please consider the following questionnaire as a soul-jarring wake-up call. If you answer no to more than 2 of these following questions, you probably aren't going to make it through any major disruption in our country. The questions were compiled by people that have been there. Are you really ready? Do you own your own firearm for the primary defense and protection of you and your loved ones? Have you ever been professionally trained to stand against life-threatening behavior? Have you ever practiced enough to fire 500 rounds during a 2 to 4 day time frame, day and night? Can you load, unload, fire, and clear a jam in total darkness? Have all the adults in your household been professionally trained? Are you, life and death, comfortable with your abilities with pistol, revolver, shotgun, and rifle? Are you aware that everything that you do to prepare for an emergency is a waste of time, money, and energy? If you haven't honed your abilities to their highest level to protect and keep what you have, do you have the repair parts that will most likely be needed for each of your firearm, and do you have the ability to install those parts? Could you completely clean every firearm you own? Are you aware that your body won't go where your mind hasn't been? In other words, without proper training, followed by regular practice, you probably will not win a gunfight. Well, how did you measure up? Take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start correcting your deficiencies by receiving your Commander Lifetime Membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility. A one-time donation to RBN for $500 will give you a Commander Lifetime Membership at Front Sight as a tremendously huge thank you bonus. See details on RBN's webpage to make it happen. The clock is ticking. You had better be ready before it happens.
We will not go down in the night without a fight. You can burn up our mosques and our homes and our schools, but our spirit will never die. We will not go down in Gaza tonight. Women and children alike.
Welcome back to our show here. We're going to go back to the phones here to Stuart in Florida. Hello, Stuart. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. First off, Tom, I think you're thinking of the actress Yvonne DiCarlo. That aside, I think one of the takeaways from what happened with this hoax is that it needs to be reinforced to people that politicians are not going to save you. They're a bunch of scumbags, with rare exceptions, and the fact that this was a hoax and a lie needs to be publicized by whatever means to your local area and the businesses there, because they're going to get ready to try to do this again in the fall. And the only thing that will save us and the small businesses is going to be mass civil disobedience, and that's it. Because you can tell these business people, if you don't ignore it, don't ignore the orders, you're going to lose your business anyway. So what do you got to lose? And once things open up, that's our chance to get the information out so that we can counter and prevent this fiasco from happening again. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, we're already seeing all these warnings about how some virus is going to come back in the fall. They're still promoting this idea that warm weather will make the coronavirus go away, but we're seeing all these studies saying, no, it won't. We've seen the coronavirus take hold in countries that have warm temperatures, and it doesn't seem to impede that at all. As far as the civil disobedience, we're already starting to see that. And, they're trying to clamp down on people who are doubting the official story. I mean, you've got YouTube and Facebook and all these corporate social media companies are now acting as the gatekeepers for what people can say and not say, which, again, First Amendment should apply and does apply if you go from the Cherry Sisters legal precedent. But at this day and age, the government's attitude toward the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is lackadaisical, to say the least. Remember what George W. Bush said? I'm sorry, it was, yeah, it was George W. Bush. He said the Constitution is a blankety blank piece of paper. Okay?
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thanks. We're going to switch over to Tom in Utah. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hi, Mike. This is just a brief one. I wish I had my side. I would be examining the graph of the infection curve from Sweden and laying it over our infection curve. And as best I can determine from what people have described to me, it's pretty much a match. So it pretty much kicks out that the primary transmission is human to human. And
Yes.
that really bothers me that they announce that all of the pathologists or virologists are saying, we're going to get hit again. Well, not the people I know. Once you've had the experience, even if it comes back in the swing back from the southern hemisphere, you'll not be the one to be taken down by it. Anyway, that's all I want to say is I'd like somebody to take and match the curve, the infection curve of the U.S., lay it on top of the Swedish experience, and except for a few variations in population size, it'll be up and down about the same rate.
Which
Should be
basically
basically
underscores the fact that all this social isolation, social distancing and everything really didn't work, especially if you compare Sweden to Great Britain.
Exactly. Yeah, see, my experience was always that the infection graphs were pretty much consistent no matter where you looked. Didn't matter whether you quarantine a nation, and we didn't do that anyway. But it would be kind of nice if I could see that graph and validate my understanding of it, that it is basically a match. Anyway, that's all I want to do. I don't want to overburden anybody with
All right,
my
well-
experience.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the phone call. I'm going to leave off the other phone calls until after this next commercial break here. Speaking of Iran, their Revolutionary Guards Corps has unveiled a new technology that they claim enables the detection and diagnosis of the new coronavirus within a 100-meter radius in just seconds. The technology was inaugurated apparently a week ago in the presence of Major General Hossein Salami, the chief commander of the elite IRGC force. The technology can detect infected surfaces and diagnose individuals who carry the pathogen within 5 seconds. It's been developed by the scientists serving the country's Basij Volunteer Force. The IRGC commander described the development as a novel and singular scientific advancement. Well, nice if it works here. All righty. Apparently, this is kind of interesting. Matt Hancock lost his cool when he told a radio interviewer the government won't release the exit plan because the public can't be trusted with it. And that, I think, reveals a lot about how the government thinks about you. We're going to take a break for commercials, and we'll be back with more phone calls after these few words.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, keep it today.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. We here at RBN are working with Front Sight Firearms Training Institute to bring our audience the best in combat, tactical, and defensive firearms training. Whether you're a private citizen who is new to firearms, or you have a concealed weapon permit and want a level of training that surpasses what you've received from your local gun range, Front Sight provides priceless education and skills taught by seasoned law enforcement, military, and private citizen instructors to levels that far exceed law enforcement and military standard. With nearly 1 million responsible citizens trained from every town, city, and state from across the United States, Front Sight has bolstered the Patriot movement to a whole new level. Contact Dan Sutterfield by phone at 573-762-2356 or 573-465-2356, or shoot him an email at domedan, DOMEDAN, @hotmail.com. This is a limited time opportunity. Don't miss it.
It happens more often than we can imagine. In my case, I was sitting at home, and out of nowhere, I just started feeling uncomfortable. Then it got worse, and I started perspiring. I tried to ignore it, but I waited too long. The chest pain came as we were driving to the hospital emergency. I felt my life clock begin to tick. I barely survived. There was lots of damage done to my heart. What do I do now? I was lucky. I took a leap of faith and tried a 7-herb formula with hawthorn, garlic, cayenne, and more called Extendivite. Herbs have been used for thousands of years to keep us healthy. If you're not using Extendivite as a preventative supplement, maybe it's time to start. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Visit us online at whatreallyhappened.com. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
Welcome back to our show here. We're going to go back to the phones to Laura in Michigan. Hello, Laura. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today? Laura, are you there? Laura, are you there? Going once? Going twice? Okay, let's switch over to Dustin in New Jersey. Hello, Dustin. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Man, I thought the record player was playing backwards there for a second.
Well, I don't know. You take some of those Black Sabbath albums, you play them backward on your, it messes up the needle.
You will die tomorrow, man. Yeah, Mike, again, some people calling in, it's not a hoax. James from Tokyo just called in. not too long. I'm glad, Mike. I said this a couple times when I called in. I'm glad he called in. I hope him and his two sons, I believe he has two sons, are doing well, because I know that cases in Tokyo were going down, but then I was hearing at the hospital they were turning people away at certain hospitals. They were like filled up. So I mean, I don't know if he can call back tomorrow if he has the time to let us know what's going on, and maybe he should hunker down. Because you know what, Mike?
Here's my question I have for this, because we're hearing hospitals are turning patients away, and then we hear about other hospitals where there are no patients at all. Why don't we take the overflow from this hospital and just bust them on over to this other hospital where they're laying staff off because they don't have enough patients?
This is true. You know, that's also, isn't it weird? Like, I mean, I know they set up the staging areas in case they get overflow. You know, like it's in case, remember the surge, if there's more people that they can handle, they would be pulled off. Because I know in New Jersey, they're setting up at I think the Meadowlands, like the Army Corps of Engineers, I believe,
yes,
are setting up like, but I mean, they just don't know. You know, I told you this, nobody knows anything. Trump don't know anything. I mean, obviously the National Security Council knew something in November. They knew something. But I mean, it's you know what, Mike? There's a disconnect going on with everybody. You know, there's a bureaucracy. You know, and then also you have politics involved, and it's not going to be good in the long run. You know, it's going to be pretty bad. You know, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, how's it going in Indiana? Like, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? I mean, I don't know. When's the last time you're out? How often are you going out? I mean, I'm only going out every 3 weeks now. I mean, I don't want to go to the store every couple of days, you know. But like, I mean, what are you seeing or hearing around, like in Indiana?
Well, around this part of Indiana, because we you know, we don't get to the other counties. I mean, we've got one county, Marion County, that's a real COVID-19 hotspot. Here in Spencer County, we've only got 4 confirmed cases, and at least around here, people are still going to the Holiday Foods supermarket, and they're going to the hardware store. The liquor store is curbside only now. The local hairstyling place is closed, and various other things like that. But around here, most people are they're getting tired of the lockdown. They want to get back to business. There are a few people who are convinced that this virus is a real problem, and that ending the lockdown is going to trigger, you know, a mass epidemic in the area.
Yeah, it's a trade-off, because if you look at Georgia, they open essential businesses like gyms and hair salons. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, tattoo parlors, really? But you know what? You know what scares me, Mike? It's just the human nature is just to be like, they go out, nobody's going to really do social distancing. You know that. Like, I don't see the movie theaters coming back, or airlines, or maybe cruise lines. Partially,
I don't
maybe.
know. I think cruise lines are going to take a long time to recover. You know, because, you know, on any kind of an ocean vessel, you're in close proximity with each other. Maintaining social distance, you know, is virtually impossible. And after what happened with some of these well-publicized infections and everything, I think the cruise lines are going to be a long time coming back. They're going to be making some great deals like the airlines are. In fact, right now over in Hawaii, everybody's taking advantage of the low airline fares to go vacation in Hawaii, to the point where the indigenous people are out there saying, look, we don't know if these people are sick or not. They're not being checked coming on in. And maybe we need to sort of back off on some of this stuff.
I mean, if everybody wears a mask and gloves, I could see the economy opening, not fast, but slowly. Testing, I don't know about, because there's not enough tests to go around, right? But I mean, like, if you look at how do you keep, like, if you have like a store, how do you keep a 6-foot distance, which is the minimum, because it's actually 30 feet, like you said. I mean, that's what the Chinese tested it at, right? 30 feet, 27 feet. But how do you, I just don't see small business coming back in bulk. Like, you know, like in terms of, it's going to be just takeout. But I mean, that's a lot. It's just, the economy's not, things aren't going to be back to what we think it is, because this is not just a fall issue thing. Because if it was, Florida wouldn't be having like cases now. You know, this is like, I don't see the temperature having anything to really do with this. Do you?
No,
Like, at
I'm
this
not
point?
either.
Yeah, and that's what worries me, because and then you'll get another mutation or this or that. So I just see this as a long-term problem. But I mean, they got, like I said, they got to get the mask and I'd say more mask than gloves. You know, if I go to the store, I wear gloves, but I don't wash everything down in bleach in the bathtub. That's nuts. You know, but don't touch your face, just wear a mask. That's how I look at it. And if they give masks to people, maybe then they can open the economy wider. But like I said, again, it's human nature. And like with the beaches, people just going to not wear anything. Obviously, you're on a beach. And that's where the problem comes, Mike. You know, but Mike, have a good night and take care.
All right. Thanks an awful lot. We're going to go back to Laura in Michigan. Laura, welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
I was going to talk about, Tom said that we voted in Gretchen. The thing is that election was the one that Trump won Michigan. And when Trump won Michigan, we also kept our Republican state house. Woke up in the morning, we got this Democrat governor, Democrat attorney general, lesbian attorney general. There had to be broke fraud. I know that Wayne County had more votes than they had population. But she's also a Soros girl. I know he has control over a lot of the voting machines. So you can't tell me that she got in fair and square.
Well, that's the problem with our election system. There's no way to validate it, no way to verify it. And they're not even checking the ID of voters to make sure that they haven't already voted or that they're even entitled to vote. I mean, our election system is a joke to the rest of the world.
Right. Remember how Jimmy Carter used to go to different countries to make sure the votes were counted correctly?
Yes.
Look what we got. We got the worst voter fraud than any of these countries.
You know, it is possible to have honest elections.
Now they're going to have another rally in Lansing, April 30th. And my idea was, they won't do this, but my idea was everybody stand outside the state house and give the governor the finger and get to have the Guinness Book of World Records. The most people giving a governor the finger at one time.
Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think great so. I'd show up to do that one myself.
We could get Guinness Book of World Records out there.
Okay. Anything else?
I think she knows how everybody feels about her.
Yeah.
I call her the Bolshevik witch, although I substitute a B.
When she came out and said she was going to extend the lockdown just to punish the protesters, I mean, that's got to tell you something about her mental, her attitude toward the voters.
Exactly. I'm glad you thought my idea was good.
I think it's a great idea. I hope you get in the Guinness Book.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Mike.
Thank you for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Robert in Kentucky. Hello, Robert. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Hey, how you doing, Mike? What's going on?
Well, not much, as you can tell from the show today.
No, I know you always have a good show, man. You've been putting in a lot of work all these years, and we all appreciate it. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but some of the callers are kind of, it's like mundane. Like a lot of people, they just want to hear you talk about the news and like read your articles and stuff, and just not take any of the calls,
Well, I get emails on both sides of the argument. I've got emails saying that they want more interaction between me and the callers, which I'm trying to do. I'm getting people saying that they like the callers, and then I'm getting other people saying, like you, more news and less callers. And I'm trying to keep everybody happy here.
No, I know you've been doing a good job over these years, Mike. I appreciate it. But I wanted to talk about patriotism.
Okay.
So basically, I mean, most of the callers today, they've been saying, wear your mask, put your gloves on, just stay indoors and be scared. None of it makes sense, Mike.
Well, I'll be very honest. When Claire and I go out, we wear masks and gloves as well. not because we're that concerned about the coronavirus for ourselves personally, but we're trying to set an example, based on the precautionary principle. The problem is we don't really know how serious the problem actually is. So we prefer to err on the side of caution. And I know there's a lot of people who are saying, you shouldn't bother wearing that. But on the other hand, we got in early. We got boxes of masks and gloves before the price gouging began. And so we've got them to spare.
Right. Right. And then when you go to the grocery stores, they have like, I went to the ShopRite the other day. They had all these squares set up. And when I
Yes.
walked in there, she was like, follow the squares. I mean, what does that even mean? Is there like a traffic signal or something like follow the squares, do this? That's not legal, is it?
Well, it's not legal, but I think for a lot of people, it's an article of their comfort zone. And our local food market has the same thing. They're X's, not squares. We went to Walmart earlier today. They're enforcing one-way traffic lanes, at least at the front of the store. And they also have squares on the floor. And the idea is you stand on a square, and if everybody else is standing on squares, then you're 6 feet apart. Not that it's really going to work, because again, especially for those people not wearing masks, which there were quite a few of, a cough or a sneeze or even just talking can spread the virus particles aerosolized much further than 6 feet. But that's the number that everybody's saying. 6 feet will keep you safe.
Yeah, that makes sense. But so basically, if everybody goes along with it, that's the only way they'll be able to pull it off, right?
True.
If everybody just rolls over and shows their belly like a little dog.
Well, actually, we had somebody today who was coming toward us on an aisle, and they just turned around and went the other way. Now, whether that's because they were concerned we were infectious or because they just didn't like the way I look, I don't know.
Oh,
but,
yeah, no. It's because they were scared like Dustin from New Jersey, right?
Well,
It's like a little
again,
scaredy cat, just hide.
I'd rather be wrong and alive than, the alternatives.
Yeah, I know that's true, but I mean, it goes back to the old saying. Like, I don't like. What is it? What was safe tyranny or whatever under like different circumstances? You'd rather have. There's not. You can be safe or something, and then under.
I think
like
you're
Alexander
thinking of-
Hamilton. What was
I
he
think you're
saying? Or
thinking
who
of
was
Ben
it?
Franklin. It was Ben Franklin who said,
Ben
"Those
Frank- what did he say?
those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither security nor liberty."
Yeah, something like that, right? And under tyranny. I think a lot of these people are just going to kiss the boot, right? As it crushes their neck.
Well, this is a long way away from the boot crushing the neck. We're talking about face masks and gloves, which, like I said, if you got them before the price gouging, it's rather inexpensive. And again, it's for the comfort of those around us, not counting the lady who turned her shopping cart around and got away from us. If
Yeah,
it's
but
going to make people...
The gloves and masks don't work, though. The masks don't work, and it's nothing. And then a lot of this before that, remember the Surgeon General? He had just got done telling us, he was like, you don't need a mask. And then it was like, all of a sudden, a couple days later, he's like, yeah, just cough in your hand, cough in your arm. And then the other article, I know, what's his name? Peter from Los Angeles brought it up. He was like, yeah, they gave like 1 million masks to the, IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. And then they were telling our soldiers just to like make a T-shirt out of it. And then the one T-shirt that they showed, if you look it up, the T-shirt that they showed the guy that brought up, it had naloxone on it. You know what naloxone is, right?
No, I do not.
It's Narcan
Okay, gotcha.
for the opioids. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yes.
they're trolling us. And then I don't know, man. There's just a lot of stuff going on, but I don't know. Like I said, people are gonna have all their guns. You can have the Second Amendment all you want, and then at the end of the day, Trump also said, take the guns first, due process later. And then Feinstein, remember Barbara Feinstein? She rubbed their hands together and they smiled. And then
Yeah.
Trump banned bump stocks and all this stuff. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I called in. I told the guy, what's his name, twiddling the dials in the
Michael.
control room about patriotism. And You can have all the guns you want, all the ammo you want, all the body armor, all that shit you want. But if you ain't gonna do with it, nothing with it, it doesn't mean anything. If we all don't stand together and rise up at one time, it's over with. And if you don't have the police on your side or the National Guard or your local area people, none of it's going to matter. So, you know, like I said, people want to be slaves. And I told you the jackboot is crushing our throats right now, Mike. I'm telling you, it's stepping on your throat. Maybe not yours, because everybody right now, they're kind of comfortable. I've been going to the grocery stores and all that stuff. The chicken's running out, the food. I guess that's what it'll take, right? But maybe not. People want to be slaves. You know, like, I'll say this and I'll stop and I'll let you go, Mike. What's his name? It's not Tom from Florida, the one guy that loves Trump. He said, oh, I'm going to get my Trump check and I'm going to take a picture of it. He said, I'm going to take a picture of it.
I thought Claire had an accident.
He said, I'm going to take a picture of it and Trump's check. You know, I'm going to look at it and take a picture. It's going to be cool. What is his name? Come on, you know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about. The one guy that called in all the time about he was mad about the ship captain. I'm telling you.
Okay.
People want to be slaves.
I gotta let you go. Robert, I gotta let you go.
People want to be slaves. Right?
We'll be right back with our last segment.
Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we have been building our online store. Well, we have been focusing on bringing you the best talk show host in the country. Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we also want our listeners to have products they can use every day and in times of emergency. We have added new products each week to our store. Your support of this network, plus products at the best prices, is a win-win situation. Check out our new store. Go to our website, republicbroadcasting.org, and click on the online store located at the top of our website. Together, we can continue to grow RBN and help our listeners prepare for the future. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and click on our online store or call us.
800-724-2719, extension 3. 800-724-2719, extension 3.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new EaseOff Model EZ4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The EaseOff lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the EaseOff? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my EaseOff?
Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry, because we are offering $200 off on the new EZ4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows, too. EaseOff LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
What this country is coming to
I sure would like to know if they don't do something by and by. The rich will live and the poor will die. Doggone, I mean the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay. Unemployment getting worse every.
And welcome back to our show here. Last segment of our program today. The phone lines are closed, and I'm going to get some news stuck in here before the closing music theme here. Right now, the United States is the country with the most coronavirus deaths in the world compared to all other nations. And Donald Trump knows the Democrats are going to be using that death figure against him come November. Nancy Pelosi's already out there saying that Trump is personally responsible for everybody who's died from COVID-19. So Donald Trump has come on out claiming that other countries are covering up the number of deaths they've had, which I think was not the way to go on this. The National Health Service is saying that patients should be placed face down and they're more likely to survive. But apparently a lot of doctors are saying they're using it only as a risky last resort. Now, a very alarming development is the coronavirus can apparently disable immune cells that fight off infections. In this, it's similar to HIV, and this would allow the virus to reactivate in some patients. Okay. Apparently, the Saudis are using COVID-19 as a fig leaf to exit from the Yemen quagmire. They were expecting that was going to be a very short war. The Houthis have held on. They're now in control of some key parts of the country, and Saudi Arabia wants to quit and go home. And apparently they're going to say, well, we're afraid of COVID-19, so we're going to withdraw with dignity and honor. Okay, apparently the U.S. government has legally moved to block the release of a trove of documents about 9/11. And the families of the victims had gone to court to get these records released, and at the last second, the U.S. government said, no, they've got to remain secret, and they can't even explain the reasons for the secrecy. Reasons for the secrecy are secret. Getting on back to Iran, in a new Foreign Affairs article this week, Eric Edelman of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and the Council on Foreign Relations, Ray Takai, I think that's pronounced, is saying the United States should be using every tool of statecraft at its disposal to aid dissidents in Iran to overthrow the regime. They tried that back in 2009 and it didn't work very well. But here we go, regime change. The U.S. mucking about with other people's countries, and then, you know, when the people in those countries start hating the United States, they say, oh, they hate us for our freedoms. Really, that's it. You know, they've got no other reason there. Apparently, Palestinians are very upset at the Netanyahu-Gantz joint government because Netanyahu was out there saying that he's pushing forward with annexation of large portions of the West Bank. And the Palestinian officials are saying that the annexation ends the peace deal, and they're ending all forms of cooperation with Israel. So that's going to flare up again. Okay, the U.S. national debt has skyrocketed to levels unseen since World War II because of all the spending for COVID-19. And there's the music for the end of the program here. Stay tuned for John Stedmiller. I'm sure he's got lots of interesting things to share with you. And please spread the word of RBN, spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. Don't forget the Front Sight Training Academy deal. $500 one-time donation buys you a lifetime free Commander membership. And please donate to RBN. Please donate to whatreallyhappened.com. We need the money to, well, in my case, I need to buy a new, bigger server. So we'll be back tomorrow. Aloha, America.